Hi everybody, my name's Chris. Most of you recognise me, I recognise most of you. I've been to a gazillion of these things. I work at a service provider called Steam. I better explain a bit about that in case any of my colleagues watch the video. Citrix Platinum partner, VMware partner, Dell partner, EMC, Oracle, lots of other things as well. So, been here a few times. I spend most of my time talking not to IT guys. I spend most of my time talking to CEOs, CIOs, CFOs about big projects. And what keeps coming up is what I'm about to kind of go through with you now. So this isn't so much a presentation for you to consume, it's hopefully to give you some ideas so when you're having these conversations, when you leave here, it enables you a little bit better. That's the idea. So let's start with this. This took me hours to create this one slide. So I'm just going to be silent when it goes. Right? This is where people on the video won't be able to read the text. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Yeah, it happens all the time to us. We get phone calls to try and dig people out of holes, whether it's internal projects or whatever. So let's get some facts. 1 in 6 projects have an overrun of 200%. You've seen a lot of these before. Failure. IT projects fail all the time. And the business does not trust IT. That's the fact. Yeah? If I ask board level members what they think of their IT department, most of them will not be really, really positive. So, we need to change this. Oh, by the way, apologies, I've just gone from episode 1 to episode 4. Yeah, so I put a little disclaimer down there. But the Death Star analogy kind of proved my point. And obviously this is a fully operational station. So it's not exactly proving my point. So this is what we had. In its day it was great. Yeah? But we've driven into the ground. It's old. We need something new. It's Yoda. Yeah? It's brilliant. It's getting what I mean now. This is what the CEO said they wanted. Recognize the car? Yeah? So the CEO says they want a Tesla. Yeah? So that's a Tesla. However, the CFO said, this looks pretty similar. I'm going to get this instead. I'm going to give you the money to get this. So the CFO told the CIO to order this. Anyone know what this one is?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is a Hyundai Genesis. But it's worse than that. So not only is the CEO about to be disappointed, and he does not yet know it, or she. This is what they actually got. We've all seen this, right? This happens all the time, but we just accept it. We've got hard drives delivered in separate cardboard boxes right at the door. I need a skip for the cardboard before I even begin. And the time it took to deliver what the CEO actually ordered, which is not what the CIO wanted, it's not what the CEO wanted, it's what the CFO gave them the money to buy. And this is partly the reason why these projects fail. Because the objectives are not met right from the very beginning. We need less complexity, not more governance. We need to make it simple. Yeah? The Star Wars theme doesn't go through the whole thing, by the way, so we'll drift off that in a minute. It just served the purpose at the beginning. So, first you take an urgent project. I have to deliver it on a specific date because someone, not me, has committed to the customer that it's going to be delivered by a particular date. That date is unachievable. Then, you've got a bunch of people who have used all of their time delivering to that date. They have to drop everything else they're doing, deliver everything to that date. Hopefully this sounds familiar to some of you. And because... because no one is willing to change the delivery date, because some guy in a suit shook hands with some other guy and told him that was the day he was going to do it, everything else falls to pieces. They take unacceptable shortcuts. This is where failure arises. And it's our fault. This is business review of IT. They've had an IT department because everyone else seemed to be getting IT departments. We thought we might as well get one as well. We're putting a lot in, but we're getting crap out.
And crying.
Yeah. It's not really doing what it's got potential. I can see it's going to do some stuff. It's not doing it yet. And these are the kind of questions that get asked. Well, no, we had another use for the pasta. We've used it for something else. What do you mean we used it for something else? It was bought for that finance project. Well, no, we need some more stuff. And this is why they don't trust us. Alternatively, this is the traditional view of the business from IT. Yeah? These guys don't even know what they're doing. They're not holding that properly. Who even uses these anymore? They think it's great. There aren't many organizations that are like this though. Yeah? So if you come across a company that's like, yeah, we want more of the same stuff, please, brilliant. Yeah? I'm not going to mention vendors here, but a lot of vendors we all know and have known for a very long time. This is what they assume a customer is like. They'll just go, when something runs out 3 years later, they'll try and sell them the next biggest, fastest thing. However, this is where we get to the consumption economics bit. I'm a partner, an IT partner, I sell customer stuff. This model is absolutely amazing. And we've been doing this for 20 years. We've been selling customers hardware, plus services, plus 1 year of maintenance, right at the very beginning. How much value have they got out of spending 70% of their entire budget on day one? Nothing. They probably don't have any value all the way through, probably 6 months at least, before they start getting value. They've had to pay for the hardware up front because it was the hardware vendor's year end and they gave them a special deal before they designed the solution. All of the risk is on the customer. Yeah? There is no risk on the partner at all, because not only did they pay with the 70% cost, those 2 year maintenance are contractually obliged because you signed for a 3 year deal. I know I'm getting that money, even if I fuck it up.
Our sales guys even like to get those 2 extra years of maintenance.
Yes, so they move up here.
Yeah. Oh, they love it, because it's money in the bank and you only have to write it off next year.
Yeah, so this is an amazing model, yeah, for the person selling it. Some customers, some vertical markets, they like having CapEx spend as well, right? So this is not universally evil, but this is the only choice they've had for ages. And these are the two issues. One, in order to maintain this, a customer has to be convinced that maintenance is a good thing. In order to make maintenance a good thing, I have to release product updates. So it allows my customer to buy into those product updates. I may not update a feature that my customer actually wants. Think about Microsoft Office. Yeah? 99% of the people using Microsoft Office probably don't use any new features whatsoever. They probably don't even know they're there. Yeah, we think they're great, maybe. This is what's called the consumption gap. This is the danger of the traditional vendor path. This traditional vendor path is spending millions of dollars on R&D to get them up here. New features, unique things, things no one else does, R&D dollars, R&D dollars. I have to charge lots for this to pay back my R&D. Down here is a company that does not exist yet, who says, well, hang on, I don't need to compete with this guy up here, I'm competing down here. These are where the new vendors are arriving. Down here, lower cost, zero R&D, because someone else has already done it for them. Away we go. This is also where cloud service providers are seen. So the danger of ignoring the fact that this model is no good for the customer is you will stop. retaining your customer will switch to a different product. You will argue that that product is shit compared to my product. The customer may agree with you, but they'll still switch. It's cheaper, it does exactly what I do. The other issue is the cloud brand. Now notice I've not said the cloud. This is what business people believe the cloud is going to give them. And it is not necessarily reality, but it's their perception, and that's what matters. They believe the cloud, if I put everything in the cloud tomorrow, it's going to be less complex, it's going to be lower cost, it's going to be easier to use, and I'm not locked into a particular vendor. Now, we know at least one of those four is always wrong. Sometimes 3 out of 4 of those is wrong. Yeah, depending on what you do. However, that's not the issue. The issue is you're now competing against a perception that your senior managers already have. So, the cloud conversation has to be had at some level. And this is what's happening, right? So this is enterprise IT. This is us guys down here. This is departmental managers who are not in IT. These blue blobs are things I provide to my customer, my internal business, to allow them to do their job. But what's changing is this. Rather than getting applications from us, they're going to get applications from somewhere else. Maybe on a small scale. Maybe it's credit card transactions for particular HR things. At least to begin with. Then this fellow comes in. Business outcomes to a business consumer. So this is software as a service, as a point solution. But this is an entire stack. So this, let's take the example, is Salesforce. I currently have a HR system, a CRM system that's on-premise. It's got server storage, software, all the rest of it. I'm replacing it with software as a service, so these blue blobs disappear for somebody else. I still need the data and I still have to do the management. But someone else is making the decision on what to buy, not the IT department. Because they're not buying services. So over time, we're getting less and less stuff to sell our own customers, our internal business. And this is how consumption economics fits in. So we've got to do one of two things. We've either got to make sure we influence this decision, or we've got to make damn sure we get the bits that are left right. Because if you do neither, you're at risk. So it's competitive. The market's going to choose whatever they want. Yeah, they might choose more expensive solutions, but they just like the look of the more expensive solutions better. Yeah, there are people here, presentations here. If I go to customers and just show them the bottom line of some of the vendors who are here compared to what they're expecting the cost to be, they almost literally fall off their chair if you just show them the cost. But if you go through this whole benefits model and simplicity model, that's when it starts to make sense. And that's why a lot of the vendors, particularly around things like hyperconvergence, a lot of the vendors don't talk to IT, they'll be talking to the business guy at the top about organic lemon joint. Don't think anyone actually sell organic lemon joint. It's a little bit risky organic lemon joint. So what are the business requirements? They require all this stuff. Yeah. Most of all, they require that. That's what we need to provide. Yeah? They've got to stay competitive, they've got to make sure they stay in business for the next 10 years, all the rest of it. This is default reaction. I know what to do, we go cloud. I now have a cloud strategy. Cloud is not a strategy. Cloud is just a method of delivering stuff you already have. Also, what happens is not what you think is about to happen, it's this. These guys turn up. You've been sold these, you get these. They're the same guys that you've known for 10 years who run a data center down the road.
Is that Alex?
I wish it was. Oh, no, this is not data center, this is not co-location. I'm now private cloud. It's a private cloud. But you've only called it private cloud, so the guy at the top, the CEO, can tell all his mates he's in the cloud. And he is not. Technically, he's not. From a marketing point of view, 100% he's now in the cloud. Okay, so that's fine, but you've really not changed anything at all. You haven't, this consumption economics thing's still going to keep going. You've moved it to the cloud, okay, it's in a co-located center, and that's going to keep shrinking. So we've got to learn how to deliver value to our business. We've got to structure outcomes talking to the people who are not in IT about CPUs and servers and storage and stuff just doesn't work. They have to see what the outcome is going to be, and that's what you deliver against. We've got to be visibly delivering results. And that's really easy. And I could start the presentation there and you're going, yeah, I need to visibly deliver results. And you walk out the door and you're like, how the fuck am I going to do that? Because I don't have any time. And it's true. When you go back to work, you'll see that the majority of us are here at the weekend. And the reason we're here at the weekend is our weeks are really busy. You're doing all these three things around the outside. There's internal IT projects. There are business projects that they've asked IT to deliver. And there's change management. Obviously, change management is typically driven by one of the other two. Biggest problem is this uses up all your time. Then when these appear, it does not get done because you do not have the time. It takes too long to get done. IT are then lazy because something that's really simple, that only takes 1 hour, that's just taking you 4 weeks to deliver. What the hell have you been doing for 4 weeks? This stuff. So let's just verbalize that a little bit. Rather than follow what you've done in the past, make small scale simplification changes. Doesn't have to be replacing your entire data center. The aim here is for you guys to gain time. Because if you guys can gain time, this bit gets done better and the value to your business goes exponentially higher, and I'll show you why. There's a thing called long tail. By the way, there's a book reference about to appear at the bottom of this. If you do nothing else, send that link to your boss. Convince your boss to read that book. I'd have fired you to read that book and not identify your own organisation inside it. Yeah? It explains what I'm about to go through. If a resource is 50% busy and it's 50% idle, 1 hour of work takes 2 hours to deliver. Everybody with it so far? Yeah, because I've only got a spare half an hour. You need 2 hours to get me a total of 1. If I'm 80% busy, I'm 20% idle. 1 hour now takes 4 hours. So someone gives me a piece of work that should take an hour, it takes me 4 hours to deliver, because I'm busy. If I'm 90% busy, I'm 10% idle. 1 hour then takes 9 hours to deliver.
All day.
Yeah? This is where the issue comes.
So we should be as idle as possible then.
Exactly right. So this is why I'm saying give the book to your boss. Because you just trying to be idle is obviously an issue. But what most people don't realise is it's an exponential scale. If you're really busy, you're screwed if something unexpected comes up. So if you're sitting down here and someone asks you, oh, there's a new employee arriving next week, next Monday, I need a new laptop provision with all their applications delivered, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, if you're using Res, that's really easy. Yeah, or AppCenter or anyone else who makes that process easier. However, this is a situation where you get into when it takes people 3 weeks to give a new employee a laptop. You're too busy. It's not as if you're sitting around doing nothing. That's what we need to try and solve. So going back to the Cassandra economics piece, if you can even simplify a little bit of what you already have, this is automation, this is any of the vendors that are presented here today. Implementing more of that stuff, even at a small scale, can have a massive impact. And the impact may not be to you, because overall, you're still just as busy, because you're doing the unexpected stuff faster. The impact is to the business that you're providing a service to. Their perception of IT goes up, because you're now responding to stuff. I can start delivering internal SLAs. I couldn't do that before, because I was all over the shop. How about this? That 1 hour task needs 4 different people. Server, storage, networking, applications, that kind of stuff, those kind of things. My 1 hour task takes 9 hours. No. It's then got to go to this one, and then this one, and this one. So 1 to 4, that's a 4 hour task in total, right? But that's going to take me 36 hours to deliver. It's just maths, right? This is why the business is pissed off, because they think it's going to take 4 hours. Because you told them it would take 4 hours probably, when they asked you how long is it going to take. Well, you can do it by this afternoon then. Well, yeah, fine. Even if you do that task by this afternoon, you're pushing something else out by 36 hours. Then this happens. I'll leave you guys a bit of time to read it. So this is our issue, right? We're all the talented people, obviously, yeah. And it gets worse. It's a constant snowball. Decisions are made. And holy crap! Who decided to do that? And where did Zen server come from? So delivering simplicity has a massive impact on the business, not on your life, but on the business's life. This makes your business run faster, increases perception of IT. IT projects are far more likely to be successful. You've almost certainly seen this quote before. But that's really what we're talking about. So become an aggregator of businesses. So this is accept that some of your applications are now not managed by you. Accept that stuff and work out how you can best aggregate them. This is things like single sign-on services, things that make you as an internal IT department more sticky. Yeah? You accept the fact they're going to move to software as a service. Fine. How are we going to manage it once you're in software as a service? Where do all these logins get done from? All those kind of stuff. Where is the actual data? How do I work out how can I make that data more consistent? How can I interrogate that data? Do I need an indexing service? But most of all, remove complexity. Again, even at a small scale, makes a big difference. Deliver real value to the consumers of IT. So what we're talking about here is not making your life any easier whatsoever, but it's delivering value back to the business. It's staying busy, but implementing the right amount of optimization in order to deliver massive impact when the business is asking for short-term requirements or when short-term things go wrong. And I've rattled through that because Alex said finish by half as well. And I'll leave you with those two. Don't be here. Again, some of you have already seen this before, particularly don't be the bot guy. Yeah. This happens to me all the time because our salespeople stand in front of a customer and say, we've been in business since 1985. And I'm like, you know what, that's not necessarily an advantage. Because there are businesses out there who may not have existed 6 months ago, who are eating our breakfast. Because they're coming in at this level already. They're coming in with the consumer approach. And we're not just talking about cloud, we're talking any level of simplicity. So this is where the hyperconvergence comes in, software-defined everything, all of that kind of stuff. So this is kind of wrapping up, but virtually all the presentations that have been here this weekend. This is kind of trying to work out how to communicate that into the business. Don't just say, I want to buy this massive piece of tin and it's going to cost £250,000 and then just expect to check. You need to try and think about how to frame it a little bit. And that's me done.
Oh.
Any questions?
Yeah, but I completely get this reducing complexity and what was less governance. But also I see one of the challenges is that because you have so many cloud services that are now just a commodity, you end up having a department say, yeah, we just bought this system. And actually it's been running for a month without you knowing, and but now we can't get to talk to this and that system. And I see that this is in one respect where you need to have some governance.
Yes.
But since IT is often seen as an obstacle to, because we ask difficult questions and have you looked into that and know that won't work because, well, at least we think we know the systems we manage. So they just wander off, buy their own shit, and come back expected to be able to integrate with other stuff we already got running.
Yeah, so and that's a really fair point, and this is where you want to try, which is easy for me to say, and get on the influence of this stuff The IT department wants to be influencing that decision before it happens.
Yeah.
Except that it is going the problem is, too many IT departments say, no, no, that's impossible. So they don't give them any guidance of what product out of the 5 they might choose is possible. And sod law is they'll pick the one product that you guys cannot integrate with.
Yeah.
Shadow IT.
Say, look, I'd rather you didn't do this, but if we have to do it, we need to meet these requirements.
Yeah.
A lot of customers completely circumvent their security.
That's
as well.
another.
So, in the UK, there's a lot of customers who are saying, oh yeah, we need to be ISO 27001. And little do they know that, okay, the stuff in the data center, it fits that bill. But some guy in a shed has sold them a piece of software that they run their entire business on. No, but that, I do have a few of those. I'm like, how do we get support for this? Oh, we just phone up Gary. What do you mean we phone up Gary? Well, he's the guy that created the software. Hang on, you run your whole business on this, and there's one guy called Gary. What happens when he gets run over by a bus? It's too difficult to think about that.
That is where you have to conflict for simplicity versus governance, because governance is boring and it takes time and we are not getting the system we want in the time we want.
Yeah.
And we are all busy, so it takes 36, 30, 40, 100 hours.
Yeah, I think the reduced governance is more of the ability you have to change stuff needs to accelerate. Because if you're not accelerating how fast you change, this is what gets them pissed off, and this is why they look outside of the IT department. But it's not meaning having no governance at all. It might just be meaning changing things. So from an application development point of view, this is where DevOps is coming from, right? Yeah. So a DevOps attitude is going to be constantly feeding into this stuff. Yeah, rather than a traditional project prints to, I need to lay it out for 6 months before I start delivering anything. That's kind of where they go.
I fully subscribe with what you said, and I would like to actually share a very small experience. This year, we had 2 customers from other IT resellers, purely because the other IT resellers were on the CAPEX model and they were telling them, look, your servers are too old, you need to replace them, blah, 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 blah. And I offered them Office 365, and most of them, most, is going to move to Office 365.
Yeah.
And I got 2 customers, purely because we have to embrace the OPEX model, we have to embrace that way of doing things. If we are in the front, it's going to happen. It's not our choice, it's going to happen, full stop. So if we embrace it today, okay, we're going to be the pioneers in our area.
The aim is to find out the way of delivering more value, right? So I can't remember the last time we deployed an Exchange server, for example. Yeah. However, we're still doing a whole bucket load of professional services around deploying what is required to deliver Office 365. So we're not actually any worse off. In fact, we as an organisation are better off because we're not a Microsoft license reseller. So we never transacted Microsoft licenses, but now we're engaged in that package by selling Office 365. So from my point of view, that's kind of a win-win. There are obviously issues with integration into other things that a customer might be doing from an Office 365 point of view, but you guys are smart enough to figure all that stuff out.
But sometimes it's also that customers have like demand on internet which makes stuff complicated.
Yeah.
And then when they start to do Office 365, they find out that that's what they really did to IT department and make it so complicated. The IT vendors like Microsoft say,
Yeah, this is where this application that was written by Gary, you find out that it has to plug directly into Exchange, and that's what it's doing now. They then move to Office 365, and then Gary's application breaks. Gary's dead. But shit, who's going to redevelop the application? So your Office 365 project has just become a £4 million business transformation project to get rid of the software that Gary made, not the Office 365 stuff. And that's where not engaging IT is the risk the business takes. But they don't know they're making that risk. They don't know that complexity is in there.
So in our case, the decision to move to Office 365 was more or less already signed and was already started without anyone considering the integration we have with different systems. the fact that you don't control which version you connect to. We had at least on one occasion where just about getting rid of Exchange 2003 was held back because we had an application that couldn't communicate with newer Exchange version.
Yeah,
And that you completely lose that control, but it sounded like a good idea.
yeah. And it's this perception.
Yeah.
So, and the problem is, if we as an IT department say, no, you can't do that, what they actually think you're saying is, I don't know how to do that. Yeah?
Or I don't want to lose my job.
Exactly. They
That's
think
what
you're
they
being
mean.
defensive. So if you say, look, it's really complicated, they say, no, it's simple. And I've spoken to Microsoft, and they tell me it's simple.
That's what happens.
They say it's really simple, everyone's doing it. Yeah? It's like Brian Madden's old analogy for high school sex. Yeah? Everyone says they're doing it. Most of the people who are doing it are doing it wrong. But you're right, this is not easy, and it's just hopefully helping you guys with a few tools and approaches
Certainly a good
that
perspective to
might help. This exponential curve thing, by the way, this business thing, really think about that. This, there's one book there which is Consumption Economics, but the one to give your boss is called the Phoenix Project. I've referenced it in here. It's where that graph comes from. This one here. Yeah, it's about £4 on.
Good thing you wrote it with the big letters, so it's you.
I wrote it massive. But you'll get the slides. The Phoenix Project. It's written like a novel about a guy who suddenly finds his manager fired. He then becomes the operations manager of a shit IT department. And it goes through how he actually implements this stuff into it. And then the end of the book's full of references to
Really, this shows, a lot of people think that government, not government IT, but governments are pretty high. A lot of time, they have a lot of people which do nothing.
yes, yes, which is where you work, right?
Yeah. but actually, what you must think about it, the governments are done, they are not made for a normal operation. No government in the world is made for normal operation, it's made for a crisis. And when the crisis kick in, then you know how good your government is. But now you have the resources to come in because they are mostly high.
We can continue this discussion later, guys, but it is lunchtime, so feel free.